It's Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, and this is episode 291 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, how you doing? Day after our tournament here?
Good.
Yeah,
everything's going well here. Nice hot day here.
Oh, yeah. You get a little bit of the heat now.
95 or more.
Yeah, cooling down a little bit here. Well, the tournament went off very well, although you didn't really participate much in it, did you, Dr. Mike?
No.
The circumstances. Mike called me the night before and said, "Oh, Mark, I forgot. We scheduled something with family members 3 months ago." I don't know what it was. But
my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are going back to Reno, and they're leaving like tomorrow. So they had invited us to dinner. I totally forgot about that. And the night before, my wife says, "Oh, yeah, by the way, don't forget about the dinner." I'm like, "Oh, no." So I had to play on my phone during dinner while we were eating.
And as a result, you really weren't responding in the chat at all.
No. And I thought about on my phone, I couldn't see it there.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, gosh, I wonder if anyone's chatting with me.
I went to your table, and whenever anybody directed a message to you, I just said, FYI, Mike's on his phone. He won't respond on chat. Mike, we have this scheduled the same time every year, the week before the NFL season, all right?
I know.
So just be ready for it.
Well, next year, I'm going to tell them, look, it's not going to be a lunch/dinner. It's going to be supper. We'll have it for supper.
All right, for supper. Very good. Welcome to the 1940s.
Hey, around here, it's breakfast, dinner, supper.
All right,
That's
when do you have lunch?
Well, some of the younger kids at school say lunch, but all the older people still say dinner. Oh,
right.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm very confused about it all, Mark. I don't know when to eat, so I just eat every, couple hours.
So you got done with your get-together with the relatives, and then you went home and called me, and you couldn't log in to PokerStars on your computer.
No, it just would freeze up every time I tried to log into PokerStars.
This is what I deal with.
It would actually
all
log in
the time, folks.
No, it would actually log in, but then this thing would come up saying that you need to update your version of PokerStars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd hit that, nothing would happen.
Uh-huh.
And then it would say, "Oh, but you can use the old version for now if you want." I'd hit that. Nothing would happen. It just would freeze up, and I kept turning the computer off and restarting and doing everything I could, never could get on.
All right.
So I got the play-by-play by you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I got the play-by-play. So it gets down to the final table. It's actually the final four. And the action was real intense at that point. And I'm doing my best to tell Mike what's going on. I'm doing a great job. I'm saying, okay, under the gun folds. The button raises. All right, small blind does this. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, okay, pair of kings wins. And it turns out Mike was fast asleep the whole time. I'm thinking, I wonder why he's not responding. Some of these hands are pretty interesting. He's not giving me any feedback.
And then for some reason, you said something like, "Are you awake?"
Yeah,
and I
Yeah, Mike, are you asleep right now? When the tournament was over. So he missed it. Oh, it's over? Oh.
Well, when I couldn't do it on the computer, I went and sat down in front of the TV and put some sports on. And I was sitting there watching that. You were talking, but evidently for a few seconds, you didn't say anything. And I figured, well, I guess I'll go to sleep.
All right. Well, congratulations to our top three finishers. First place was I Draw 5. And boy, they were in some trouble at one point. I want to say very short stack, but made a nice comeback. So first place, $100 Amazon gift card. Second place was Sauce Bean for $50. And third place was 44 Magnum Fun for $25. So congratulations to those.
Has Sauce Bean finished in the money before?
I don't think so.
Tournaments?
No.
It just seems familiar.
Now,
maybe that name just sticks out because it's, catchy. Sauce Bean.
Yeah, it could be. I didn't have quite as good a tournament as last time. I went out in 61st place.
61st?
Yeah, what did we have?
Well, how many were there, 62?
No, we had 116 players, so I didn't quite finish in the top half. Was eliminated 61st. So, yeah, you outlasted me, Mike. You went out in 45th place. So,
I was in the top
congratulations.
half. I was getting cards at the beginning. I had my up to like, I don't know, 48, 5,000.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I saw you were doing real well initially. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was just card dead. I couldn't even really play any hands. And finally I got to the point where the blinds were kind of killing me. And then, I got to play one of these hands. So I ended up playing something like King 7 or something.
Yeah.
When I got down low there, and then, obviously went out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had fun, especially initially. It was better when I was eating and playing than it was when I stopped eating.
When you concentrated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I concentrated.
Yeah, that seems typical of all your gambling.
Yeah.
So my bounty went to 44 Magnum Fun, who came in third place. So he's getting an additional $25 in Amazon gift cards. Mike, your bounty went to Here to Blue 714. So congratulations, $25 gift card there. Also, Tim Lawson said he would give a $25 gift card to whoever took him out. He was taken out by Weevil Fish King. That's our friend Miguel from our home game. So There you go. And
that's money in Mark's pocket.
That's right. It's coming right back to me eventually.
Thanks, Tim. That's going right back to Mark.
And Tim had, I think, his best tournament. He finished in 24th place. So very good. Congratulations, Tim, for your top finish. And then, as always, this is so great. Richard from London is going to donate $100 to the charity of the winner's choice. Once again, Richard, thank you so much for doing that. I have not had a chance to ask iDraw5 what charity they would like to donate to, so we'll let everybody know on the next episode where their money's going to. But again, just another great tournament. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
And thank you, Richard. What a great guy.
Yeah, and again, we really appreciate people waiting to register until they were sure that they were going to play. We had a lot fewer no-shows this time than we did in the past, so that was great. Thank you very much.
So our next tournament, Mark, will be
the Sunday before March Madness. Again, that, is basically Selection Sunday, and that is going to be March 17th, if I'm not mistaken. So, Mike, make your plans now. Clear out that, section there. Don't be making plans.
I'm going to immediately, when this is over, go upstairs and write down March 17th is taken.
Okay.
Busy.
Very good.
I'm going to put it on the refrigerator.
Excellent. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to voicemails. If you recall, on our last episode, Ryan called in with information about the beginning of his Vegas trip. So let's see how things went for him on days 3 and 4 of that trip.
Hey guys, it's Ryan from Twin Cities calling you back, finishing up our Vegas vacation trip, although it wasn't actually Vegas vacation, it was the weekend after. Day 3 was our transition day. We woke up, went to Pink Box Donuts for breakfast. Amazing donut selection, although I will say my anxiety was inducing, as it was a very difficult decision as to what to choose for donuts. We did stop by the Circus Sportsbook to catch some sports before checking out of the D and heading on to Horseshoe. Mobile check-in was great. We got notified that our room was ready as we walked into the lobby at 11 a.m. Dropped our bags and wandered around Horseshoe. First impressions of the Horseshoe, nice room, comfortable beds, and a mini fridge in the room. Casino was not all that busy on a Sunday in August, but overall a nice little refresh. We left to wander around the area. Cromwell continues to disappoint. Terrible pay tables, high limits, empty casino floors, You get the gist. Wandered down to Planet Hollywood and discovered a Stadium Craps roll-to-win hybrid thing. Essentially, it's the same interface as Stadium Craps, but there's a small tub to roll with a dealer who enters numbers in as you roll them. Dice landed on a felt and not plastic, so it feels a little bit more like a normal game. With only a $5 limit, 2 times odds, it's a nice way to just sit and drink. A mix of crazy efficient cocktail waitresses, the $5 limits, 360 Vegas Mark joining us, and probably the most Vegas dealer I've ever had, Ron. We played for probably 4 to 5 hours and just had a ball. The pit boss, the crew, our table and surrounding tables were loving us as we were tipping them every roll we had. The game was more fun with Ron as he was calling the numbers as a traditional game. Other dealers would simply enter the numbers in and we'd wait. Once we figured this out, Neil, Mark, and I would make sure to announce our numbers as soon as they were set. This carried over to the others and helped make the session more enjoyable. Definitely a fun spot for a group of people. I don't think it would have been as much fun without the stars aligning, such as the quick drinks, Ron and his inappropriate and hysterical jokes, and Mark hanging with us. Dinner was supposed to be a celebration dinner at My Asia in Horseshoe. But after finishing our dinner, we were informed that they don't honor the celebration dinner, but would have accepted casino comps. Frustrating, but after a day of drinking, we didn't push the issue and paid the bill and took the leftovers to the room. Next day, woke up. I spent time at Horseshoe while Neil wandered around South Strip. The pool at Horseshoe reminded me of the pool in the movie Caddyshack. If you think dated country club pool, that's what you got. It serves its purpose, but man, it is a long walk to get there. We did opt to utilize that celebration dinner we did use the following day. We went to Guy Fieri's Flavortown Sports Kitchen. It served its purpose for free sustenance. Don't think I ever need to go back, but it was free. We did walk over to Ellis Island to play some $5 craps. We got spots at the second of two tables. Both were at $5. Neil and I both immediately started tipping. Pass line, odds, all fall small for the crew. And they caught on very quickly that we were going to take care of them. And soon they were calling us by name after each and every roll, thanking us for dropping tokes for them. After a few shooters, the table started to fill up. They raised the table limit to $10, but grandfathered Neil and I in. I have no doubt that tipping helped, as we were able to play $5 for the entire duration that we were there, which was a good few hours. I will call back with a very unique situation that happened mid-roll, one of my best rolls I've ever had. I just want to get your take on that. After finally getting back to even at Craps, opted to go to Lotus the Siam for dinner. That place is so good. Get the garlic prawns if you go. They absolutely worth the price. We did need to stop at Tuscany to cash some winning tickets from our bets earlier at Circa. That stop cost me money, as I had to wait for the ticket person at what they call a sports book to show back up from taking his break. Lost a pair of video poker there, so definitely not worth the trip. And Tuscany is definitely not a place I need to return to. Went back to Horseshoe for some video poker at the lobby bar. Did learn that they are back comping some of their craft cocktails. I enjoyed probably one too many Belittled Fashions. I did notice that they were also comping some other ones as well. Your mileage is going to vary there, but it was nice to see that at Upstart property. I didn't make much money, but enjoyed a good drink session. Headed back to the room, realized that I had 1, very strong old fashions, 2, forgot that I had quite a bit of sake at dinner, and 3, realized I needed some food. Thank goodness that the fridge had some leftovers in it. Not often that you can have a fridge on a strip property, and the food was super helpful. Headed home the next day with a lighter wallet with some great experiences. Thank you guys for all that you do. Ryan, otherwise RMM78 on Twitter. I'll call back later with that little story I got for you guys. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
All right, and we will hear that story later on in the episode. Thanks, Ryan, for the trip report. Sounds like you did a lot and had a good time.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning there, Mark.
All right, go ahead.
With the Pink Box Donuts.
Yeah.
You know, it's so frustrating for me, too. I go into a donut place, what to get? I mean, I love them all.
Yeah, I know.
I really do. I mean, there are a few that I love more than the rest, but I'm happy with any donut, really. I just love them.
Yeah, you got to buy a dozen at least and take them home. I mean, you know, you have to eat them by the end of the day. That's my rule.
I love those cream-filled ones or the jelly-filled ones.
I do too.
Oh, boy. The only time I don't get a cream-filled one is like when I'm driving because it gets a little messy.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense.
You know, and out here, we have Quick Trip, which is kind of like 7-Eleven in California. And the Quick Trips here you can buy like a box of 6, like old-fashioned cherry.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Sure, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
They're good.
I could eat it's ridiculous. I get a box and like the next day, it's like, how come there's one donut left?
I like Bear Claws, but the quality definitely varies, you know, depending on the donut shop, et cetera, et cetera. But if it's a really good Bear Claw, that's my favorite.
I'm there with you. And I also love cinnamon rolls. I know they're not donuts, but when you go to the donut shop and get a good cinnamon roll,
it's good.
All right, enough donut talk.
Okay, you definitely want to get that back into the trip. Yeah, whenever you're going to use your Caesar Celebration dinner, it's best to check if the restaurant that you're about to go to will honor that. Some do not. In this case, with My Asia, they have since closed down. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, like the impending closure. They weren't able to use the celebration because they said they'd take reward credits. And you'd think if they'd take one, they'd take the other. Who knows? Also,
I'm just going to believe that Ryan made a stink and they had to close.
Oh, that could be. Maybe Ryan complained. You mean I could not use this? Right. Made a big damage some things.
Right now, you guys are going out of business. And he made a phone call and then boom, they're closed.
I think a lot of the Caesars restaurants, you can just tell them we're going to use it and they will handle it when the bill comes. I know there were some restaurants where you had to actually get a voucher first from the Players Club desk and then take it to the restaurant. I don't know if that is still the case, but definitely check beforehand. Otherwise, you might have a big bill at the end that you thought was going to be comped and it's not.
Once again, every property is different. We'll have different rules on the games and different procedures for your free play. And it's just very, very confusing.
Well, and in some cases, too, the restaurants operate completely separately from Caesars, even though it's on the property.
They're paying a fee or whatever to have a place there. And they're not affiliated with the actual casino.
Yeah.
They're just paying rent.
Yep.
Right? Glad he had fun at Ellis Island. I don't think we've ever had a bad report from Ellis Island.
Ellis Island is sort of the low roller heaven because of the limits and the steak dinner that you get inexpensively and just the atmosphere.
Well, and it is kind of a fun place.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Even
if you're betting high. Now, I was a little disappointed in the craps table. The limits were so low. It's hard to get around those low limits.
Yeah, it was too low for Dr. Mike. He wanted to bet more on the prop bets than they would allow.
Right.
So talk about throwing a fit.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're still open, Mark.
All right, next call.
Hey, guys. Nathan from Sacramento. A couple of quick things. I took a quick trip to Reno. I looked for listener Marty, but didn't see him. I didn't hardly see anybody playing craps. So I played the bubble craps machine, and I gotta say, over the years of playing regular craps, I've had some decent wins, but in less than a year playing these bubble craps, I've taken anywhere from 3 to 500, 3,000 about 5 times now, and I can't say I've done that on the real craps table, over the years that many times. But they have these high $25 minimums in Reno. Well, I know they're all over Vegas and more in other places, but just nobody plays. And I like to have somebody to shoot. But anyhow, next thing, kind of funny, I was playing Baccarat at Hard Rock here by Sacramento, and I was playing heads up, and the dealer, for the first start of the shoe, every time I bet, he would say, "Okay, sir, you're going to win this one, guaranteed." And, of course, I lost 6 hands in a row. And he said that every single time. And this is no joke. I said, "Will you please stop saying that? You don't know when I'm going to win." He said, "Oh, sorry." He never said another word, and I won 12 hands in a row. So, I'm kind of reasonable like you guys. I know it was just a fluke, but it was kind of funny at the same time. I hope to get to meet you guys at Harrah's, Southern California on the 23rd, if that's still on. All right. Thanks for the great show. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. So September 23rd, a Saturday. That is still on, right, Dr. Mike? You're going to be in town?
Yes, that is still on. I have plane tickets. I will be there.
All right. Very good. We're going to have one more episode before that, so we'll mention it again. But anybody who's able to, we will see you that Saturday. I have a feeling we'll get there pretty early in the day and stay pretty late.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
Fairly early. My daughter's moving into her dorm room in the university, and I have to help her, but I should be done with that by noon. So,
yeah, there you go. So
I imagine we'll get out there kind of early.
All right, very good. Yeah, of course, yes, I like to think of myself as a very rational person, no superstitions whatsoever, but those still are very interesting stories, right? The guy, you're going to win, you're going to win, you're going to win. Stop saying that. And then he started winning. So,
well, the problem is he probably didn't say guaranteed.
Oh, he's probably saying guaranteed instead of the Cajun guaranteed. Yeah, I see. Okay.
That's what you got to do. Guaranteed.
Okay. Yeah, that must have been it. All right, let's hear from Charlie.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Charlie from Iowa. I wanted to get your thoughts on how casinos handle hardways on the come out. I normally like my hardways working, and casinos seem to be all over the map and house rules here. So some have hardways working by default, Some want you to say working every time. Some will keep like an on lammer on the hardway bet for you. But I started thinking about this after getting burned at a casino in Michigan when my hardways were off and a hard 10 was rolled. I wasn't told that I had to say working every time, despite me always having my hardways working for a period of time up to that point. I'm a relaxed player, so I didn't storm off or get too pissed or anything, but the dealer closest to me, he could tell I was a little aggravated. The dealer across the table from me actually noticed what was going on and joked that, well, a good dealer always reminds their players to stay working. So that made us all laugh a little bit and lighten up. And still ended up being a profitable session. But I wanted to ask, why don't all or even most casinos have hardways working by default? Seems like that'd be in the best interest for the casinos to be that way. So hope to see you at Diamond Joe Dubuque one of these days, Dr. Mike. But best of luck to both of you at the tables.
All right, there you go. When are you going to be going to Dubuque, Mike?
Geez, Mark, I should make a trip down there. Actually, my wife's cousin who lives in Dubuque was here yesterday visiting us. So I'll have to go down there and visit them and drop my wife up at their house and head to the casino.
All right. Well, be sure to let all our listeners know when you're going to be there so that they can.
I'll try and confirm a date.
Okay. We're not sure why casinos don't have hardways working on the come out roll as a default. Yeah, it seems like they should. It's to their benefit, more action. But for whatever reason, there are some
they don't want the controversy, Mark. Like if they're off, it's like, nobody gets burned. Some beginner guy who has one out there and says, hey, what happened to my hardway?
Yeah, but I think you're more likely to have the controversy that Charlie went through, right? Yeah. What do you mean my bets were off?
Yeah. Well, I make it a point to say my hardways always work.
Yeah, and the reason he had to say that is because Harrah's Southern California is one of those casinos where the hardways are off on the come-out roll. Right. No, hardways should be working on the come-out roll all the time, and every come-out roll, the stick should be saying, hardways work unless you call them off. That's the way it is in Vegas. I think that should be the way it is at every craps table. Hardways work unless you call them off. Yeah. But they do have to make that announcement too, right? And then make sure everybody knows.
And you can announce it the other way too. Hardways are off unless you tell me they're working. Yeah. They should always announce that, but you know how that goes.
If you want them off or on, it's like you said, Dr. Mike, let a dealer know, at least one dealer or the pit.
Pit.
My hardways are always working, or my hardways are always off on the come out roll. And if you get some kind of confirmation from a dealer, pit, or whatever, okay, that should be good enough, right? And just make sure that when there's a shift change, the new crew knows. But, if you want it to go one way, definitely make an announcement. And if it's a new casino, ask them what their policy is, because, it is different. Some work, some don't.
The safest thing is always to announce your intentions if you're going to play the same way. And that even goes for like odds. You can always say, look, I always take full odds.
Mm-hmm, yes. Mm-hmm.
You can say that right off. And that way, if something happened and, you messed up and you thought you had 5 green chips and you had a red one in there or something, they would say, oh, yeah, he always takes full odds. Pay him.
Yeah, as long as somebody on the crew knows and can verify that. It's like, oh, yeah, he's always got full odds, then you're good.
Right. Especially if there's a box person.
Yes.
Then, that makes it a lot easier because then, he told me that, so.
All right, next call.
Hey, guys, Anthony from Missouri. By the time this episode's coming out, I will be about a month out from going to Vegas. Never played Pie-Gow poker or face-up Pie-Gow poker, so probably want to try that out this time after you guys are talking about it. So I want to see what trainers are out there. There's a couple, but it seems like it doesn't really help. It's just auto setting the hands or anything. So what do I need to know going into the Pie-Gow poker and playing that in person, especially to being my first time? Another thing, too, is I do play craps, try to get some lower limits when we're out in Vegas, which is hard to do where we stay. Go downtown once in a while, but the thing I can't get over with craps, I've been playing for a while, is that when you're out there and you got the money that are out there on the table, I know that that's my money, and it just is a weird thing that I always get a little weirded out about with losing that money that's on the table once things get pressed up or anything. So how do I get over that? And how do I be a little bit more aggressive, knowing that I am going to lose that money that's on the table, but it's going to turn into profit? Just a weird mental thing that gets in my head when I'm playing craps that way. So any advice on that would be great. Thanks for all that y'all do.
Okay, so this is similar to a call we got a little while ago. Advice on how to come to terms with you've got a lot of money out there that you're risking.
Well, you answered the pie gow question, Mark, and I'll answer the craps question.
All right. Well, I will contribute to the craps question first. But yeah, let's go back to pie gow poker. So if you're not familiar with pie gow poker, a great resource, of course, is the Wizard of Odds. Go to his pie gow poker page. Not only will explain how the game is played, but also some strategy. Like, when do you split up two pair? That's usually the big dilemma, is when do you split up two pair? When do you keep two pair together? I will say, you mentioned, Anthony, that you're going to be playing some face-up pie gow poker, which is almost exclusively what they deal now in Vegas, at least on the Strip and downtown. And when it comes to face-up pie gow poker, well, shoot, you can see what the dealer has, so you know exactly how to set up the hand. And even if you're not sure how to set up the hand, the dealer can show you the best way to do it, because sometimes there are times when you want to maybe play differently from a basic strategy for regular pie gow poker, just because you know what the dealer hand is. You play something kind of wacky.
They'll do that in regular.
Yeah, they'll do that regular pie gow poker too. But again, go to the Wizard of Odds. Always a great resource. Okay, what do you want to say about, Mike, when you've got a lot of money out on the table and you've started to press and you've gotten the bets up to a higher amount than you ever would have put out there directly?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to start by telling a little story about, I remember one time very distinctly playing next to a couple of guys who were they knew craps, but they were younger guys and they hadn't, had many years of experience.
Okay.
And I remember standing there and the one guy turned to the other guy and said, yeah, I feel like I should just take all my bets down. We were in the middle of a good roll. Right. And they had pressed him up. Now they weren't pressed up real high, but he was like, gosh, we've won. And, on this roll, maybe I should just take them all down because the 7's coming soon.
Right.
His buddy's like, yeah, I think about that myself too. And they had this big, long discussion. And I didn't say anything because I didn't want to, they were young. I didn't want to say, yeah, you leave it out there, go for the gusto. But here's my take on that. What I was thinking when they were talking is that if you've reached a point in the roll where you're ahead, why not press a little and collect a little? And in your head, think to yourself, well, when it does 7 out, sure, I'm going to lose, several $100s or whatever's out there. But I've made money on this roll. And if I didn't have that out there, I wouldn't have made as much. So that's kind of my mindset. I know it's still very difficult. I mean, I've had 7 outs in the past where, oh my God, there was $7,000 on the table. Why didn't I just turn all my bets off? But in reality, I know that I wouldn't have had that 7 if I hadn't have already won the 5 or 6 that's in my rack.
Yeah, right.
So that's kind of the way I think about it and kind of what I would have told those guys. Now, if you've pressed a couple of times and they've all hit, and you might say, well, geez, I've got 500 out there. If I take that down, I'm pretty much even for the trip. That might be the time to say, okay, take them down or go back to like the bare minimum bet, whatever it is.
Right.
Because at that point, you'd be even for the trip and you'd be thinking, okay, now you might kick yourself in the butt if the roll continues for a while, or the next roll might be a 7 out. You might think, oh, I'm a genius. But either way, in your mind, you have to be ready to say, well, this is what I came to do. And so this is what I'm going to do and see how it works out, right?
Yeah, I would say, Anthony, if you're really struggling with this, hey, try that. Try taking your bets down, or like Mike said, down to the minimum. A lot of times you will have made more money by taking those bets down than you would have from that point on leaving them up there. I'm not practicing what I preach here because I never do that. Mike certainly never does. I don't either. But if you do it maybe kind of on a regular basis, you might be patting yourself on the back. You say, hey, I actually made more money by taking those bets down than I would have if I've left them up. And Mike, we kind of talked about this too, and you were joking about how Jack was saying, hey, you can put $5,000 on the 4 right away.
Right.
You don't have to press to get it up to that point. And that's kind of what we're saying here, right? Yes, Anthony, that is your money. Would you have gone to the table and said, all right, give me $100 on all the numbers? Would you have ever done that? Probably not. But you might be in a situation you've got it pressed up to that amount.
It kind of depends on your personality and how hard you take it when the 7 out does come and you've left all that money up there.
Yeah.
That could happen. You could say, hey, I was going for it. Good for me.
Yeah, sure.
Or you could say, oh, what an idiot I was. Why didn't I pull it all down?
Yeah.
So it kind of depends on your person.
And, what you want to get out of craps. Ask the guys at Crap Vegas. They might not play, quote unquote, the best way mathematically, but they like those big hits. Those long rolls, when they've gone all the way across and they're just collecting. I will say this, pulling those bets down, it's mathematically the right thing to do because this is a negative EV game, right? So, take the bets down.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully we answered your question there, Anthony. All right, let's hear from Ryan, see what that crap story is.
All right, guys, so here's that story of my crap game at Ellis Island. I've been rolling for probably 10, 15 minutes, hitting point after point, finally collecting money for myself and the crew. And as I shared, Neil and I were both tipping pretty heavily. As I was grabbing the dice to continue my roll, a guy came in and tossed chips onto the don't come. And the dealer who we had been taking care of literally screamed at this guy, "What are you doing? Why are you throwing your chips in the middle? Why are you even here right now?" I have never, ever seen a dealer switch so quickly. And I knew exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to get that bad karma off the table. And he would not relent. This guy opted later in my roll to toss his player's cards down to the opposite end of the table. And once again, this dealer just lit into him. Marco was his name. He went on break. When he left, the gentleman who was the don't player called the pit boss over and complained about the rudeness of the dealer, and I just looked at the pit and said, he's coming in mid-roll and throwing money across the table. Got a little wink from Will, the pit boss, and a little nod from Marco. Thanked them for their time. Continued rolling for probably 3 or 4 points after. But I'd love to hear, have you ever had a situation like that where a dealer switches in support of a player mid-roll to try to get another player off the table? Something I've never experienced, but it was definitely something that I will remember for a while, and I chalk it up to taking care of those dealers. They'll take care of you. Thanks again, guys. You rock. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, we've got some maybe conflicting opinions about what happened here, but I will say the closest thing that I've ever come across, we were playing once, Mike, at Harris, Southern California, and somebody bought in mid-roll, kind of arrogantly. Not sheepishly or anything, just, I'm here, playing.
Yeah, right.
And as the chips were being counted out, the dealer on our side made a comment about how he had bought in mid-roll, actually called attention to it.
Right.
And that set this player off, cussing him out and what have you. I immediately said, take all my bets down because I just don't enjoy playing in that kind of environment, right? I don't believe in, negative energy or anything as far as that affecting the dice, but I don't enjoy it. And I immediately left that table. That's probably the closest thing I've seen. Now, in this case, it sounds like this don't player was deliberately trying to call attention to himself and make a 7 come out. Maybe he's, like I said, throwing his player's card out, right? He wanted that attention. Now, I understand, Ryan, you kind of appreciating that Marco was standing up for you, maybe, because you were making tips. But yeah, Marco's reaction was a little over the top too. It's not his place to be complaining about players who are showing bad etiquette, which is all this was, right? It wasn't against the rules. He is allowed to put money down on the don't come. I don't know how he splashed it. Was he, throwing chips and they were going all over the place? That maybe is something different.
Yeah, if he splashed it, then you'd have a reason to kind of yell at him.
Right.
That's not really.
But I don't think we've ever seen a dealer go off on somebody like that. And again, I realize it was kind of standing up for you, but yeah, as an employee, he probably shouldn't be doing that. And maybe they spoke to him afterwards, or maybe they didn't, because the pit and his boss and everything thinking, oh yeah, that stupid don't player. What does he think he's doing? So I don't know. That's my feeling on it.
Well, I think if you're going to work in a casino, every employee in the casino has to have kind of a thick skin.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with people who are losing money. People get upset about that. They take it out on whoever, the waitress in the cafe or whoever they're going to take it out on. So you have to kind of have a tough skin.
I agree. You need a thick skin up to a certain point. As an employee, you shouldn't have to put up with abuse. And again, this situation, there was no abuse. A thick skin for the employee. I still agree with you, Dr. Mike. But this was not being leveled at Marco, right? This was just bad etiquette that angered Marco because he appreciated the way that Ryan was playing and the tips and everything. And here's somebody to kind of come in and mess all this up. So I understand that, but yeah.
Yeah. And, we weren't there either, Mark. So don't forget, we don't know what the attitude of the don't guy was. Or,
it sounds like he was a bit of
some guy
jerk,
who always does this.
Yeah.
Anyway. Going to have bad people no matter where you go.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I am spinning so many plates right now that I am behind on voicemails, on emails. I apologize I haven't gotten back to everybody. And in my personal life, I've just got so much going on.
I know. Yeah, Mark has a lot going on now, so it's kind of difficult for him. So we're going to give you a break, Mark, and we're going to end the show a little early.
Okay, well, very good. Thanks, Dr. Mike. I appreciate that. Hopefully by the next episode, I will have been all caught up. I do want to say this. Thank you to everybody who has gone to our online store. You can bet on that store. Again, the link is at the top of our webpage. And Mike, I believe tomorrow you're sending out the first wave of T-shirts, correct?
Yes, I am. They're going to be in the mail tomorrow morning. Got it all packaged and ready to go.
Some of those orders came a few weeks ago. Sorry it's taken this long, but we're finally getting organized here. So yeah, those are going out tomorrow. So thanks for doing that, Mike.
Yeah, and my goal is to eventually get other items like,
other than T-shirts,
Yeah, cups, hats, the whole deal. Eventually we'll get that. We're working on it.
Okay, so good. Very good.
That's in progress.
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Josh, the boys over at Crap Vegas, Jeremy at the Color Up YouTube channel, James, and Kurt. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from Raji, karma donation for trip number 2 with my daughter. My kids know all they have to say is, Dad, we should meet up in Vegas. And they essentially get a Vegas free roll with all expenses covered. Thanks for all you do. All right. Well, very good. Have good luck, Raji. Yeah,
Father of the year.
Also, a donation from Taylor. Karma donation for my birthday trip to Harrah's Cherokee, September 7th through the 10th. Looking forward to playing lots of craps and watching college football. Thanks for all the great episodes. Taylor from Atlanta. Oh, great. Well, good luck on your trip.
Good luck with your bets.
And we also got a donation from Eamon. Eamon, I'm going to single you out as somebody that I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to your email or processed your voicemail. We'll definitely get to that on the next episode. So thank you very much for your donation, Eamon. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings and our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. Dr. Mike, you ready for football?
I am, Mark. Gosh, there's even one on tonight right now.
Yeah, college is already starting,
Yeah, we had college football on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and now Monday. 5 days in a row. How wonderful is the world?
Fantastic.
And then in 2 more days, we're going to have an NFL game.
Yep, exactly. It's starting. And Mike, congratulations on your college football picks so far. You're off to a great start.
Oh, great start. I can't believe it's going so well.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this continues and then people want to be calling me to get my picks.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm excited about that. And then baseball's coming to a closure here. That's not so exciting for us, but yeah, I like the playoffs, and the Twins are going to be in the playoffs.
Well, there you go.
There you go. We have something to root for here in Minnesota. One other thing I'd like to mention before we end this, at our elementary school, we have a shortage currently of tennis shoes. So we have this room called the Warrior Foundation Room where people donate jackets and clothes and stuff, and we distribute them to kids in need. And tennis shoes is the one thing that we're really lacking on.
Okay, so sports shoes. I mean, not specifically tennis shoes, but sneakers.
Well,
I mean,
the general tennis shoe.
Right, yeah. Athletic shoes.
Athletic shoes, yeah. We have plenty of boots for winter and things like that, but we're just really short on shoes that they can wear in the school. And sometimes it's people who are low income who just can't afford them.
Yeah.
And so we try and help them out and take care of them. So I wanted to ask all of our listeners if by chance you have some extra shoes that would fit, say, a kindergartner, a 5-year-old to, 6th grade, a 12-year-old, in that range. If you have children that had shoes that you don't use anymore, or, a nephew, a niece, anybody, that just, has some shoes that they're just done with. And as long as they're in fairly decent shape, we would love to have you send those to our school.
Okay, great.
And,
so where do they send them?
If you do, you can mail them to the school, and I will reimburse everybody for any postage they spend.
Oh, that's great. Good, Dr. Mike.
So yeah, so send it, and if your address is on there, I'll resend you the postage. And it's Caledonia. That's spelled Caledonia Elementary School. And our address is 511 West Main Street, Caledonia, Minnesota. And the zip code is 55921. And you can just write on there, Caledonia Elementary School, attention, Dr. Mike.
Oh, there you go.
And then I'll get them and put them in the Warrior thing and send you some refund money.
Oh, that's great. Okay, very good. Thanks, Dr. Mike.
Because it's a good cause. And if we get a lot, then, we'll give them to the school in the next town. There's plenty of schools here who can use that.
Oh, that's great. Good job, Dr. Mike.
Yep, and I'm looking forward to San Diego, Mark.
Oh, yeah, we'll see you in a few weeks. But again, we'll have one more episode before then. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good night.
I'm so excited. Did you see the ring? Oh, my God. I can't wait to tell my parents I'm marrying a doctor.
He's a dentist.
But it doesn't matter. The invitation will still read Dr. and Mrs. What's his last name?